Applying for funding can feel really daunting, but with the right approach, you can turn a good idea into a winning proposal. In this training, we'll walk through 8 essential steps for writing successful grant applications, whether you're applying to the District Advance Fund or are approaching a funder outside of the Methodist Church. Understand the funder's priorities. Before you write a single word, study the funder's guidelines, not just once, but more than once. Learn their priorities. Do they want to fund innovation, community projects, environmental work? Align your proposal with their goals and use the same language they use. If they say community cohesion, don't call it togetherness, call it community cohesion. Be clear, concise, and compelling. Write in plain English. Avoid jargon. Funders may not know your specialist terms, but they will understand a clear story. Explain the problem, your solution, and why it matters. If you are applying to an external funder, remember that Methodist language and terminology may not be understood by people outside the church. And be specific. Don't say, we'll improve community spirit. Say, we'll bring 200 local residents together for 6 free art workshops. Take the time to write a clear narrative that draws people in. If you want funders to take your project seriously, you must show the thought and planning that sits behind it. If you rush through this, it will show. Define clear objectives and outcomes. Set out exactly what you'll do, when, and with whom, and make your outcomes measurable. Instead of vague aspirations, aim for concrete targets like engage 50 young people in environmental cleanups or train 10 volunteers in first aid. Funders want to see how you'll measure success and if you have a plan to evaluate it. Furthering God's kingdom may be an admirable objective, but funders want facts and figures. Build a realistic budget. Your budget should be clear, detailed, and fully justified. Match each item to the funder's eligible costs and make sure it all adds up. Don't just put in a total figure, make sure you cover all elements and don't throw in a random figure for miscellaneous expenses. Include details of any co-funding, donations or volunteer hours. It shows commitment and long-term sustainability. Almost all funders will expect there to be some funding from your own resources, so make this a clear part of your budget. If you intend to continue to run the project at the end of the funding, explain where you would expect to find ongoing financial support. If your project is running over several years, remember to cost in some element of inflation. It can only be an estimate, but it's an important element. If you are employing someone, make sure you have considered the full range of employers' on costs. The District Lay Employment Advisor can help with this. And of course, you will need approval from the district if you make any employment decisions, irrespective of funding. Show community support or partnerships. Strong bids are rooted in the community. Include letters of support, evidence of consultation, and any partnership agreements. If you've spoken to local groups or are collaborating with others, make it clear. Funders want to see that you're not working in isolation. Speak to your local councillors and ask for their support. Gather local opinion about your project to show that there is interest beyond just your own church. Plan for delivery and sustainability. Show that you have a clear delivery plan. Who will manage the project? What's the timeline? And what happens after the grant ends? Funders love to see projects that will continue making an impact long after their money has been spent. Speaking of planning, some external funders may ask for a business plan. This is a document that brings together all the elements of your grant application in one place. Follow the instructions to the letter. Never ignore the small print. Stick to word and page limits. Include all the documents you are asked for. Accounts, safeguarding policies, anything. If you are applying to the district, you will need to send a mission plan. It's no use saying it's being worked on or is yet to be agreed. The absence of a mission plan is a deal breaker for the district. For district applications, make sure you use the right form. If you're not sure which form you should be using, ask. Make sure you've provided every piece of supporting documentation that is required. If your project is in a conservation area or is a listed building, you will need consent from the Connectional Conservation Officer. And all building projects have to be registered on the Property Consent System. If you are planning to employ someone as part of your project, you must have made the lay employment advisor aware of this. Missing these steps will mean that your project cannot move forward. Never ignore the small print. And applications need to be signed by the right people. Again, read the instructions and get it right. A well-presented application shows your commitment to the project. An executive summary at the start can create a good impression, particularly for large or complex projects. Number pages, add additional documents as appendices, and try to keep the format of each document the same. Almost no funder will consider retrospective applications for funding, so forward planning is essential. And never miss the deadline. Submitting late is a guaranteed way to be rejected. Grant funders will have clear cut-off dates for submission. Don't wait until the last minute to submit. Your funder may have questions which need to be answered before decisions are made, and giving time for this is both polite and sensible. Rushed, last-minute applications often have mistakes, and there may be no time left to straighten things out. Remember, most people scrutinising grant applications will be volunteers themselves, so it's helpful to treat them with respect and not cause last-minute panic. There are exceptional circumstances where the District Advance Fund will consider emergency applications for funding outside the regular timetable of grants meetings. But these are for emergencies such as a boiler breakdown or a leaking roof. It is not an emergency if you can't get your application in on time. Get feedback. Before you send it off, get fresh eyes on your application. When you are deeply immersed in a project, it's hard to be objective. Someone unfamiliar with the project may spot what you've missed. Ask someone in another church or a neighbouring circuit to review your application. You might want to contact the funder with a short outline or question. They might offer valuable guidance. One final thought. Most funders will have an application process that will take you through step by step along the various areas they want to ask you about. But you might simply be asked to submit a business plan. Don't panic. That's just a document that pulls everything together in one place. If you follow the steps we've talked about in this video, you can pull all the information into one document that will be a business plan. Grant writing is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. Follow these steps, tell your story clearly, and you'll be giving your project the best chance to succeed.